There have been a ton of Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons over the years, and let's be honest, they're all over the place when it comes to quality. From bizarre musical adventures to surprisingly dark and mature stories of rebellion, Sonic's animated history is a wild ride. So today, I'm finally doing it. I'm ranking every single Sonic animated series from the absolute worst to the undisputed best. And this is my definitive tier list, and trust me, I'm not pulling any punches. Take it with a grain if you will, because this is specifically my opinion. We'll be digging into the writing, the characters, and the moments that sealed their fate in my ranking. Get ready, because some of these choices might just surprise you. Alright, let's just get this one out of the way. Kicking off the bottom of the list is one that you probably saw coming, Sonic Underground from 1998. This is a different kind of Sonic universe that I unfortunately am not able to grow accustomed to. The premise is bizarre. Sonic is one of 3 royal triplets, with a sister Sonia and a brother Manic, who were separated at birth to hide from Dr. Robotnik. And a prophecy says they'll reunite with their mother, Queen Alina, and overthrow Robotnik's regime. And how do they fight for freedom? By starting a rock band. Wait, what? The trio has magical medallions that turn into instruments, which also double as laser weapons. The biggest issue is that every single episode has a musical number, and these songs don't really amuse me. They grind the pacing to a halt with recycled animation. The show ignores the game's lore, getting rid of characters like Tails completely. I mean, at least we have Knuckles, but was that the best they could do? While it has a strange cult following, its wild departure from the Sonic I know and its unamusing musical segments firmly plant it at the bottom of my list. Next up at number 5, and you're probably gonna hate me for this, Sonic Prime from 2022. This show looks like Sonic, but it doesn't feel like it. The fact that the designs and locations look spot on from the games makes it look promising, but the characters make it feel otherwise. For example, instead of Rouge the Bat being the shameless jewel thief she is in the games, she's a fully dedicated hero here, not the kind of Rouge we grew up with. Sonic himself also seems so much like a dullard compared to his other counterparts. The show throws Sonic into the Shatterverse, where he teams up with different versions of his friends. And on top of the character changes, the concept of other dimensional counterparts is done 3 times over. And some of them even have different voice actors. How do they keep track of all that? I mean, I was fine seeing the concept in Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, but this is honestly messy. I also think the voice acting is quite bland. While the CGI animation is vibrant and energetic, the out-of-character moments, confusing plot, and lackluster voice work keep it in the lower half of the list. Okay, now we're getting to the good stuff. At number 4 is The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog from 1993. Yes, I do find this better than Sonic Prime. This show was all about slapstick comedy and zany energy, with an over-the-top cartoonish aesthetic. Each episode follows a simple formula. Dr. Robotnik cooks up some ridiculous scheme, and Sonic and Tails show up to stop him. The show is basically Looney Tunes with a blue hedgehog, but the real stars are Robotnik and his bumbling henchbots Scratch and Grounder, who are constant comic relief. And this show gave birth to that infamous meme.
Snooping as usual, I see.
The show is also packed with jokes that only grown-ups could understand, but the reason I rank it at a slightly low tier is because it's clearly meant for younger kids, plus it harnesses some elements that they were only able to get away with in the 90s. And of course, there are the Sonic Says segments. While it's a fun, nostalgic show, its lack of ambition holds it back from getting any higher on the list. Now that we're halfway through, and believe me, the rankings are only going to get more controversial from here, I gotta know what you think. Before we get to the top 3, what's your favorite Sonic show? Drop your full ranking in the comments below, and if you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Breaking into number 3 is a show that defined Sonic for a generation of anime fans. And you're probably gonna hate me for this too. Sonic X from 2003. This was the first show that retold the events of some of the games, delivering arcs based on Sonic Adventure 2, and Sonic Battle. It also marked the introduction of some of the best voice actors for the characters, like Jason Griffith as Sonic and Shadow, and Mike Pollock as Dr. Eggman, who still voices Eggman for the games to this very day. They were the first voices I ever heard for these characters, and I immediately fell in love with it. The premise involves a chaos control event teleporting Sonic and his friends to Earth, where they meet a human kid named Christopher Thorndike. Sure, the censorship the English dub brought is still a bit of a setback, and the character development of Chris needed some work, but this still honestly works better for me. Sorry. The series evolves from an episodic Monster of the Week hunt for Chaos Emeralds into direct game adaptations, and finally into a full-on space opera against the Metarex. Its incredible animation, loyalty to the game's best stories, and fantastic voice cast earned Sonic X a very high spot on my list. Alright, if y'all are done booing me now, let's move on. Now, number 2 is occupied by 2 TV shows, because I love them both equally, and I'm lumping them together because they both succeeded for the exact same reason, that they are brilliantly funny. One of those shows is Sonic Boom from 2014. Sonic Boom feels so different from the rest of the pack, but it's a lovable kind of different. It rebooted the formula as an ensemble comedy that loves to make fun of the franchise's own history. Once again, we get a voice cast straight from the games, with the return of Mike Pollock as Dr. Eggman, of course. And hearing them perform these characters in a more comedic way just makes it pure gold. Their writing is genuinely laugh-out-loud funny, full of sharp banter, meta-humor, and more jokes that only grown-ups could understand and love. Now, the other show that occupies spot number 2 is Knuckles from 2024. Knuckles is the first show to take place in the Filmverse, and it worked extremely well. I mean, sure, the second half of the series feels more centered around the supporting character Wade Whipple, but even his character is a lovable one. Idris Elba's take on Knuckles as a stoic warrior trying to understand human life is comedy gold. And so, together, Sonic Boom and Knuckles are the best modern take on the crew, choosing character-driven comedy over high-stakes action and absolutely nailing it. And here we are, at the number 1 spot, the undisputed king of all the Sonic TV shows. And if you've already guessed what it is, give yourself a pat on the back. This is the self-titled Sonic the Hedgehog from 1993. While The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was the goofy, lighthearted weekday show, SatAM, the codename for this show, was its complete opposite. This show was dark, it was mature, and it had real stakes. The premise is grim. Dr. Robotnik has already won, he's taken over the planet Mobius, renamed the capital Robotropolis, and is turning everyone into mindless robotic slaves. Sonic isn't just a carefree adventurer here, he's a member of the Knothole Freedom Fighters, a small group of rebels led by Princess Sally Acorn, fighting a desperate war to take their world back. This series gave us what is arguably the most terrifying version of Dr. Robotnik, voiced with chilling menace by the legendary Jim Cummings. He was a genuine, frightening dictator. The show mixed humor with serious, emotional storytelling, exploring themes of loss, hope, and rebellion. The bond between the freedom fighters felt real, and you could feel the weight of their struggle in every episode.
Butter? Oui, oui. Oh, yes, oui. Butter. Margarine!
Kind of.
Margarine!
For the most part.
Margarine!
Now, this version of Sonic was allowed to be vulnerable, giving the character a depth we've rarely seen since. Even though it ended on a painful cliffhanger, being cancelled after 2 seasons, SatAM's ambitious storytelling and compelling characters set a standard that no other Sonic cartoon has managed to reach. It is, without a doubt, the best Sonic the Hedgehog animated series. And that's the list. From the musical misfire of Underground to the dark, dramatic storytelling of SatAM, Sonic's history in animation has been anything but boring. This is my definitive ranking, but I know you've got your own. So, one last time, I have to ask, what's your favorite Sonic cartoon? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.